hello everyone. Well, it's very exciting to be here. We hope that everything is going out just fine. We can't really see the text unless
we have no chance of knowing, to be honest.
Do that. So, yes.
That was two sets of tunes from the end of the 17th century. So, first one was a tune written by Henry Purcell, and the second one was a tune collected by his good friend John Playford, and round about 1680. You should never start a sentence if you can't remember the next bit. We're going to play something else that's even older, or at least the words are even older. These are thought to be 16th century words, and it's a proposal song. Boy says to girl, I really love you, will you marry me? And the girl says, I'll think about it.
There is a chorus if you want to sing along with us at home, and the chorus goes, Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day to woo. Twice. I mean, you have to sing that line twice. Don't say the word twice, because otherwise there's not enough words. So.
Over there, be much better. I have a house in London, Kent. If you love me now. Tuppence halfpenny is my rent, I cannot come every day to. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day to. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day to.
That's the chorus, everyone, sing it with us.
Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day to. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day to. I am my father's eldest son, and my mother does love me well. For I can bravely clout my shoe, and I can full well ring a bell. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day to. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day to. My father, he gave me a hog, and my mother, she gave me her son. My godfather lives thereby, and he has bequeathed me a plough. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day to. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day to. One time I gave you a paper of pins, another time a torturing lace. If you deny my love, I will surely die in your face. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day to. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day to. So I put on my best white slop, and I wear my yellow hose. On my head a good grey hat, and in it I'll stick a rose. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day to. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day to. So seize up, do not delay. If you love me now. Else I'll seek some other way. come every day too. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day too. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day too. Tuppence halfpenny is his rent, he cannot come every day too. I have a house and land in Kent. If you love me now. Yippee! So, it's normal in a folk setting to sing some songs about death, but we're not going to. We're going to do another one that is not about death, but it is about the devil. There are lots of songs about otherworld events and otherworld things, but this one is a prosaic song about how such a story might come about. This song is called Jonah and the Whale. No, it's not. It's called Jonah and the Devil. It's not the same Jonah either.
Okay.
This is where we find out. That'll do. Here we go. Late one October, Jonah went to market with a shopping list from Janie and a jingle in his pocket. He set out off the road just with the rising of the sun, swearing he would be home before the day was done. He bought a fine copper pot, just as Jane had written down, a pair of wooden mug trees and some black cloth for a gown, knives and forks and spoons all carved out of white pine, and a small sharp pocket knife and a ball of twine. He put all his new things into the cooking pot. He made his way through the busy streets till he passed the Walter Scott. He could not resist the sounds coming from the tap room, so he stropped in for a quick one. I'll head home soon. He stayed a little longer than first had been his plan. By the time he took a step home, the sun was nearly down. He bravely set off up the road with the shopping in his arms, and out of the corner of his eyes he told who bold or ruffians. He quickened up his pace as fast as he could walk, but he heard their steps behind him and could hear their muttered talk. He broke into a trot and then he found that he was running, but the footsteps behind him, they just kept on coming. He ran and he ran, but the chase still was on. He knew that he was losing ground and soon his days were done. In stark desperation as he tried so hard to flee, he leapt off the road and hid in a grove of trees. Come out, we know that you're there. Come out, and your life perhaps we'll spare. Or else we're coming after you and then we'll cut you down. The choice is yours, my friend. We'll start the countdown. Jonah hiding in the wood was overcome with fear. But then he had the moment, the start of an idea. Quietly as he could, he put his shopping in a line, drew out his pocket knife and his ball of twine. He tied the mug tree to the bottom of the copper pot. He wrapped the cloth around him and secured it with a knot. With the cutlery in his hand and the pot on his head, he squatted on the ground, took a breath and found his resolve. And then he jumped up and he flailed and he screamed and he wailed. He whirled and twirled and he thrashed and he slashed. He clattered and he battered and he shouted and he hollered. My, how they ran, how they squealed as they ran. My, how they fled, how they whimpered as they fled. They fled as they cried off into the night, and soon they disappeared out of sight. Jonah kept on hollering till he was sure they'd gone. Then he packed his stuff away and traced his good way home. Jonah made it back that night where Janie'd waited up. He told her the whole story, but she swore he made it up. Early next year they overheard two travellers talking. No one goes along that road, it's now not safe for walking. We hear there's a devil in the woods by the way. He's taken a man already, oh so they say. Jonah winked to Janie and smiled.
Time for a completely different feel and another swap of nyckelharpa. This is my third nyckelharpa for the evening. I just need to
Somehow we haven't planned this very well. We change every time. This is a contra dance song, and I think I might have seen Bob say hello. So this is for Bob. A contra dance song called Grandpa Joe. Grandpa Joe has a hole in his hat, a hole in his coat, a hole in his shoes, a hole in his pants. They're American pants, so not really pants. And a hole in his soul, but he doesn't care because he's dancing and everything will be all right. There's a chorus if you fancy it. Won't you come and dance, me darling? Won't you dance with me? Won't you come and dance, me darling? The devil's going to come for me. Don't put the speech impediment in. You'll get to the end of the song after we've stopped. Oh, indeed.
Okay, I'm nearly there, nearly there.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, bit tuning. What's you?
So this is a Swedish nyckelharpa. This is a violin-pitched one. The one I was playing in the previous song was a cello-pitched one. And the one I was playing in the previous song was a viola-pitched one, which was the normal one. And if you want to hear any more about the nyckelharpa, then you can come and join us in Zoom after this Facebook live stream. We will post the link into the chat a little bit later on.
Of course, if you have something else to do, like washing hair, you don't have to come. But we'll be around for 20 minutes to show you things if you're up for it.
Here is Grandpa Joe. Oh. We keep looking at our feet, not because we need to check that we still have feet, but we have a lot of buttons on the floor.
It's also partly habitual, because we generally do sound for ourselves, and that's where all the controls are. Tonight, we're lucky to have Chris on sound. You can't see him or anything, but he's hiding away and doing our tech for us. But we still look down at our feet for some reason.
Yes. Unmuted.
Can't not.
Doors are cross-checked and armed. Is that cross-checked and armed, or are they armed and cross-checked? Anyway, here we go. Yep, all the buttons are still okay. Good.
Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his hat, hole in his hat, hole in his hat. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his hat, the devil's gonna come for me. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his hat, a hole in his hat, well fancy that. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his hat, the devil's gonna come for me. Won't you come and dance, me darling, won't you dance with me? Won't you come and dance, me darling, the devil's gonna come for me. Won't you come and dance, me darling, won't you dance with me? Won't you come and dance, me darling, the devil's gonna come for me. Hey. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his coat, hole in his coat, hole in his coat. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his coat, the devil's gonna come for me. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his coat, eaten through by a great big stone. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his coat, the devil's gonna come for me. Won't you come and dance, me darling, won't you dance with me? Won't you come and dance, me darling, the devil's gonna come for me. Won't you come and dance, me darling, won't you dance with me? Won't you come and dance, me darling, the devil's gonna come for me. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his pants, hole in his pants, hole in his pants. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his pants, the devil's gonna come for me. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his pants, he can't sit down for fear of the ants. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his pants, the devil's gonna come for me. Won't you come and dance, me darling, won't you dance with me? Won't you come and dance, me darling, the devil's gonna come for me. Won't you come and dance, me darling, won't you dance with me? Won't you come and dance, me darling, the devil's gonna come for me. Hey. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his shoes, hole in his shoes, hole in his shoes. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his shoes, the devil's gonna come for me. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his shoes, his toes stick out and it's turning blue. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his shoes, the devil's gonna come for me. Won't you come and dance, me darling, won't you dance with me? Won't you come and dance, me darling, the devil's gonna come for me. Won't you come and dance, me darling, won't you dance with me? Won't you come and dance, me darling, the devil's gonna come for me. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his soul, hole in his soul, hole in his soul. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his soul, the devil's gonna come for me. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his soul, the devil's gonna have him dancing on a pole. Grandpa Joe's got a hole in his soul, the devil's gonna come for me. Won't you come and dance, me darling, won't you dance with me? Won't you come and dance, me darling, the devil's gonna come for me. Won't you come and dance, me darling, won't you dance with me? Won't you come and dance, me darling, the devil's gonna come for me. Won't you come and dance, me darling, won't you dance with me? Won't you come and dance, me darling, the devil's gonna come for me.
We have, I'm watching, well, I'm trying not to watch a little screen my phone's got us so that we know that we're going out.
We're still going.
We're still going. It's very strange, don't it's like, oh no, why have I stopped? Oh no, I shouldn't.
Look there.
Let's not go there. I need to change Nyckelharpas again. We do a lot of playing for dance. We used to do a lot of playing for dance, and now we seemingly do more and more dances online in Zoom, which is a thing, and it's a lovely thing to do, because we haven't played for real people for a really long time. And We like to do Playford dancing, which is dances that were collected and published in 1651 by... Onwards, yes, by John Playford.
And his son.
And I've done a little bit of research into how his dancing master collection came into being, and I'm going to share with you this evening my research, but I do need to swap my knuckle harp over.
For no reason at all, I'm going to start by playing some cow horn at you. You probably don't need to use speakers on this. I'll just open the window. We're only in Braintree, so you can probably hear us in Harwich. But I should play you some Swedish cow horn. It is literally a cow horn made by a Swedish cow. Now, isn't that exciting?
And I'm going to put an earplug in.
Everyone's a critic. Okay. Let's do the thing.
Of course, I can't hear anything now.
What?
Pardon? Okay, here we go. Nearly ready. It's the thing about whispering when you've got a microphone on your head. It doesn't really work. Okay.
The only person who can't hear you when you whisper is me.
beautiful summer's day, and now the sun had set and the stars were starting to twinkle in the clear bright sky. And finally, John Playford was on his way home from the most incredible party that he'd ever been to. has to be said, he had indeed drunk quite a lot of fine ale that night, and he was feeling quite merry. And as he went along the street, he danced a merry dance and he whistled a jolly tune. There'd been a lot of music at the party that night, and John's head was spinning with all of the melodies that had been played, although, to be honest, he couldn't entirely be sure if his head was spinning because of the music, because of the dancing, or because of the ale. Either way, he wasn't really looking where he was going, and he almost skipped straight into a shadowy figure standing there right in front of him. This figure's face was obscured by a big black floppy hat, but there seemed to be a secretive little smile on his lips and a slight red glow in his eyes. "Good evening," said the stranger. "A very good evening to you too," replied John. The stranger nodded in acknowledgement. "You seem to enjoy a good dance and a fine tune. Abide with me a while and I will show you some of the finest dancing that you have ever seen." The air appeared to cool a little in the hot summer's evening, and it seemed to John that he ought to accept this invitation from such a beguiling stranger. So they both went down the street, John and this fine companion, and the secretive little smile spread further across the stranger's lips, and he started to hum a little tune to himself. Down a dark alley they went, and even though John could still hear the bells of Westminster in the distance, he found himself in a meadow that he had never noticed before. And standing there right in front of his eyes was some shimmering, beautiful goddess-like creatures, all poised, expectant and ready for these two fine companions to arrive. The stranger turned to John and smiled. "Come, join us, have a dance. This will be the finest dancing in which you have ever participated." John hesitated. He'd heard some strange stories about dancing with ghostly apparitions such as these, but he did love to dance, and what harm could one dance do? "Yes," said John, "I'll dance." Slowly, the stranger lifted his knuckleharper up under his arm, and he started to play a new tune that nobody had ever heard before. Once, John found that his feet had started to move all by themselves. First, his toes tapped, next, his knees wobbled, then his whole leg, and finally, his whole body pulsated to this mesmerising dance. He was alarmed to find that he couldn't stop, leading up a double, forward and back, down and round the outside again, the goddesses doing the same, half around and a circular hay. It was a blur of dancing. Faster and faster they went. "Please stop, I need to catch my breath," cried John. But the stranger took none such notice and played on faster and faster. For mercy, but it wasn't until as the sun began to rise that he heard the familiar voice of his good friend Henry. "What in heaven's name are you doing dancing in the middle of the street?" cried Henry, and at that very moment the music ceased. The stranger and his creatures all vanished, and with the spell broken, John fell to the ground in a dead faint. John never could fully explain that strange evening, but as soon as he had recovered enough, he went straight home and started to compile a manuscript of all of the music and all of the dances that he'd been party to that night. And it is said that that is how the Dancing Master Collection was created. It must have been some dance that night, and an incredible sight to behold in the place that in later years came to be known as Devil's Acre. For we still dance those dances and play those tunes that before that night had never been heard before. Every word of that is true. Honest. Time to sing something completely different, and I'm going to change from a knuckle harper this time.
Oh. This is a song collected in true folk style. It was collected by the Copper family down on the south coast sometime in the 20th century, and I collected it from somebody who sang their song in a pub in Cambridge. And in true pub style, I've half remembered it correctly and half remembered it wrong. And I've fixed some of it and not all of it, because it's like evolution, isn't it? Random genetics. They should do it without explaining it. Anybody who knows folk music will know this. And I shall now use the right instrument. What a difference two strings makes. Oh, I'm all tangled up now.
We are currently in the middle of our Burns night set. This is the Tartan is for our Burns. We did a Burns event on Sunday in Zoom, and we've got another Burns event left. And so we thought we would just leave the family tartan on the walls, just so that when we look back at the Facebook streams, we can date this particular stream to, that was the one we did in the middle of the Burns gigs. For any of you wondering out there, it is the McQueen tartan.
This song was composed by Spencer the Rover, who travelled through England and most parts of Wales. It being so reduced that caused great confusion, and that was the reason he went on the road. In Yorkshire near Rotherham he'd been on his rambles, and weary of travelling he sat down to rest. At the foot of yon mountain there flows a clear fountain, with bread and cold water himself did refresh. It tasted more sweet than the gold he had wasted, more sweeter than honey and gave more content. But thoughts of his babies lamenting their father brought tears to his eyes and made him lament. With the night fast approaching, to the woods he resorted, with woodbine and ivy his bed for to make. When he dreamt about sighing, lamenting and crying, go home to your family and rambling forsake. 5th of November, a day to remember, when first he came home to his family and wife. They looked so surprised the day he arrived, to see such a stranger once more in their sight. His children came round him with young prattling stories, with young prattling stories to drive care away. Now they are united like birds of one feather, like bees in one hive, content they will stay. And now he is living in his cottage contented, with woodbine and roses growing all round his door. He's as happy as others of thousands of riches, contented he'll stay and go rambling no more. He's as happy as others of thousands of riches, contented he'll stay and go rambling no more.
That was far too jolly. We need to sing you a song about death now.
Right old bit of misery coming up. This is another song that I learned in the folk tradition. This is from the singing of Sarah Gray, the amazing Sarah Gray, who's a font of all knowledge of old American songs. And this is indeed an American Civil War song. And it's all about the moment a mother... I can't multitask. I'm going to tune and then talk.
Thank you for watching, everyone out there. It's very exciting. We do have CDs for sale. We will post anywhere in the world. We also have a tip jar, which is in the information, I believe. If not, it'll go into the chat or into the information later on today. I think when we first started... 10 months ago, we didn't think we would still be here live streaming 10 months later. Yes. He has but 6 strings there. So, as we mentioned earlier, we will be going into Zoom after this. If you want to ask us about any of our instruments, whether they're ones that we have played tonight or ones we haven't played tonight, we will dig around and try and find the ones we haven't played. We could... If you come into the Zoom afterwards, we will play you Jonny's latest instrument acquisition, if we can get to it.
I bought a note.
Yes.
So, back to where I was.
Is it under the harpsichord?
No, it's in the middle of the lounge.
It's in the middle of the lounge. Okay, that's okay.
Itchy eye. This is a song about the moment when a mother who, as is typical in old wars, you wouldn't hear directly from the army about the fate of your son. So there will be this sort of weekly... procession of concerned parents down to the village hall or down to the church hall or the town hall to see the dispatches coming in. And this is that moment when the mother sees her son's name at the top of the list and knows that he's died. And of course, the information, particularly the American Civil War and earlier, is minimal. Oh dear. John Lover's dead, that's what his mother said. Johnny Lover's dead, that's what his mother said. John Lover went to the war, John Lover's gone. Yes, John Lover went to the war, grey Johnny Lover's gone. died on another man's ground, killed by strangers round. He died on another man's land, killed by strangers' hand. John Lover went to the war, John Lover's gone. Yes, John Lover went to the war, cried Johnny Lover's gone. He died on another man's ground, that's where his body was found. He died on another man's land, killed by a stranger's hand. John Lover went to the war, John Lover's gone. Yes, John Lover went to the war, cried Johnny Lover's gone. She turns away so slow, she has nothing left to show. She's got no boy to grow, just the crops in the ground, in the rain and the sun. John Lover's gone, just the crops in the ground, in the rain and the sun, cried Johnny Lover's gone. John Lover's dead, and she never held his head. Johnny Lover's dead, and she never held his head. As he died on the ground in the rain and the sun, John Lover's gone. As he died on the ground in the rain and the sun, cried Johnny Lover's gone. John Lover's dead, that's what his mother said. John Lover's dead. John Lover.
Time for something completely different. It'll take me a minute to set up, so Jonny will have to talk to you.
Whenever the word bagpipes is are mentioned, pretty much I can guarantee that most people will think of the Highland pipes from Scotland, and they are indeed big and amazing pipes. But they are also pretty much the youngest pipes, and there are many versions of pipes all over Europe, all over the world, indeed, but it's particularly in Europe, of older traditionally piped things. And this is a set of tunes we're going to play on Vicky's Swedish bagpipes. You can tell they're Swedish by the accents when they play. Oid, 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 you put the chicken in the pan.
They're over here. Oh, hello. It's not an awful lot of space in here. It might look all nice and spacious, but it's not. So these are the Swedish bagpipes. Many people don't know that Swedish bagpipes exist, but they do. And these are they. It's a chanter and one single drone, and they're very sweet. And we are going to play for you Two tunes, School Macarena, which is a bridal march, and the more beautiful the bride, the slower the tune. So this is a very, very beautiful bride, followed by a tune that I found in a manuscript from where my family is from, and it is that's Jönköping, and it's called Kadril Kozaken. So it's the Cossack quadrille. We think it probably came maybe from the barracks, maybe some visiting Russian soldiers or something. I don't really know. It is an old tune, and we're going to play it Cossack style, slowly, and then getting faster and faster.
If you fancy having a go at your Cossack dancing, now is a good time.
Or your quadrilling.
Or your quadrilling.
Okay. Still got feet, it's okay. It was quite quick. We Cossacked it up.
How did you get on? Did you quadrille or... No. Okay. We are piling towards the end, but we're not at the end. We're now going to sing you our folk club song. And this is a song written for folk clubs. Do you remember those? When lockdown doesn't happen, we spend a lot of our happiest times going around folk clubs playing to just the most marvellous group of people. And one of the things we found is that many times folk clubs know each other a long time. People in the folk clubs, rather, not the folk club themselves. Anthropomorphizing a building is a bit silly. And, so there's a lot of community going on. But, of course, what happens for us, because we're the visiting musician is we get to see people regularly but never have enough time to talk to them. So we kind of get these little windows onto how their communities are going. And see, the thing is, I've stopped listening because I was worrying about my guitar. Yes, I know what I'm saying. So we've made lots of near relationships with people, near friendships as people that we can talk to. And this song is all about that. It's all about how we make wonderful friends, but not deep enough because we have to travel so much. And rather than me rambling on, let me tell you the chorus, because that sums it all up. I didn't know him well, I barely knew his name, but I miss his conversation and his friendship all the same. The other critical bit of the song is all these people are no longer with us.
Yeah, don't need this anymore.
Oh, D. Here we go.
I can see him riding down the hill on his old-fashioned bike, hair streaming in the wind, carefree as you like. I can see him singing from the floor of workers and their rights. The strength of his conviction would set the room alight. I didn't know him well, I barely knew his name, but I miss his conversation and his friendship all the same. I didn't know him well, I barely knew his name, but I miss him all the same.
That's the chorus, everyone out there, sing it with us.
I didn't know him well, I barely knew his name, but I miss his conversation and his friendship all the same. I didn't know him well, I barely knew his name, but I miss him all the same. She'd always turn up early, laden down with bags and all, raffle prizes, ticket books, candles for the hall. She'd make the night run smoothly, always done without a frown. But when she sang of love and loss, she'd bring the whole house down. I didn't know her well, I barely knew her name, but I miss her conversation and her friendship all the same. I didn't know her well, barely knew her name, but I miss her all the same. They'd turn up in 5 separate cars, the jolly shanty crew. They'd have a set list all prepared, then change it halfway through. They'd ramble through their introductions with a joke or two, but then their simple harmonies were wonderful and true. I didn't know them well, I barely knew their names, but I missed their conversation and their friendship all the same. I didn't know them well, I barely knew their names, but I missed them all the same. I didn't know them well, I barely knew their names, but I missed their conversation and their friendship all the same. I didn't know them well, I barely knew their names, but I missed them all the same. I never ever heard him sing a song or play a tune. I suspect if we had asked him, he'd have run out of the room. But he would sing along with gusto to every chorus and refrain, then quietly slip out from the back to catch his last train. I didn't know him well, I barely knew his name, but I miss his conversation and his friendship all the same. I didn't know him well, I barely knew his name, but I miss I have this image in my mind of a folk club in the sky, where candles never sputter out and beer never runs dry, where songs are never forgotten and guitars they stay in key, and everyone knows all the words in perfect harmony. I didn't know them well, barely knew their names, but I missed their conversation and their friendship all the same. I didn't know them well, barely knew their names, but I missed them all the same. I didn't know them well, barely knew their names, but I missed their conversation and their friendship all the same. I didn't know them well, barely knew their names, but I missed them all the same. I missed them all the same. I missed them.
We're going to sing you one last song now before we head over to Zoom. Jonny is going to tell you about it, and I'm going to attempt to get the Zoom link into the chat. So, Jonny,
okay.
talk, me do that. You hang tight.
Earlier we played you a contra dance tune thing called Grandpa Joe. This is a similar thing. This is called Jiggle the Old Bones, and it's a song about a family, a notional Midwest American family who get to dance every weekend, and it's what keeps them happy and sane. It's called Jiggle the Old Bones, and the chorus goes, so let's dance, feel the groove and dance, let your body move and dance. It's quite hard, this, isn't it? I now trip myself up and I can't remember. So let's dance, feel the groove and dance, let your body move and dance, put your cares away, safe away for another day, and dance, feel the groove and dance, jiggle the old bones. That's quite long. Not helped by me saying it 1.5 times. So just shout jiggle the old bones at random times. That'll do fine. Thank you again. This is our last one. Thank you again to Chris, who's done sound for us. It's quite odd in Facebook because he has to listen to us by a different thing, because if he does it on Facebook, it's 20 seconds after we've done it, which means that if we made a mistake, it'll be 20 seconds of enduring that. But anyway, thank you.
I can still see myself typing on the little screen. Oh, no, hold on, I'm muted. There we go. I can still see myself typing on the little screen. Nothing like timing.
Oh, hang on. I just changed you.
So if you have any questions, do come into Zoom afterwards. There may not be many of us. There may be lots. Who knows? And I shall go through and I will read all of the chat messages, including the ones that I've just put in.
And thank you to Harwich Festival of the Arts for putting this on, making these happening. And I see that they're looking for new trustees. Go and check out their website. They're doing amazing things. Harwich is a funny little place, but it's lovely and full of glorious people. We can say that because we're only half an hour down the road.
I miss Harwich. We catch the boat to get to the continent from Harwich.
Many a happier day at Parkston Quay, waiting in a queue.
And going over that big bridge.
That goes over the railway line.
Oh yes, over the railway line. I love that.
That's not Harwich, that's Parkston Quay.
Wait, it's close enough.
It's a bit like saying, I really like Braintree, but particularly the industrial estate.
Yep. It's more about you're going on an adventure when you go over that. Okay.
Should we stop talking?
I think we should. We'll save it for Zoom.
Thank you. See you in a bit if you come along.
Obviously, if you're watching this and catch up, don't go into the Zoom because we won't be there. We'll have already done it. So it's only if you're watching this live. Get on with it. Okay, ready.
Billy comes home with dirt in his hair, a stain on his shirt from we don't know where, but a smile on his face like he just don't care. But now's the time for dancing. He breaks his back working down the mine, selling us all for $1 and a dime, but a cup of tea and he'll be fine. Now's the time to dance, so let's dance. Feel the groove and dance. Let your body move and dance. Put your cares away, save away for another day and dance. Feel the groove and dance. Let your body move and dance. Jiggle the old bones. comes home from a day in town, 2 hard jobs you just hold down. But now you've seen a hint of profound, but now's the time for dancing. Kids are growing up and doing okay, genie worries anyway, save some money for a rainy day. But for now they're gonna dance, so let's dance. Feel the groove and dance, let your body move and dance. Put your cares away, save away for another day and dance. Feel the groove and dance, let your body move and dance. Jiggle the old bones. Daughter Sue's got a brand new man, a blue-eyed boy with a Midwest tan. She said she's gonna marry him when she can, but he's gotta learn to dance for him tonight. Gonna be the first day that Mom and Dad will seal their fates, but he's better scrub up and not be late. And now they're gonna dance, so let's dance. Feel the groove and dance, let your body move and dance. Put your cares away, save away for another day and dance. Feel the groove and dance, let your body move and dance. To the old bones. Kids are grown and left the home, Billy and Jean feel all alone. This great house won't cozy and warm, just feels empty. Christmas time is coming soon, now they'll need to clear the room, for everyone is coming home. Now's the time to dance, so let's dance. Feel the groove and dance, let your body move and dance. Put your cares away, save away for another day and dance. Feel the groove and dance, let your body move and dance. So let's dance, feel the groove and dance, let your body move and dance. Put your cares away, save away for another day and dance. Feel the groove and dance, let your body move and dance. Jiggle the old bones. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being there.
Thank you very much.
Come over and join us in Zoom. And don't forget, if you've enjoyed this evening's performance, we do have a tip jar in the information. We have a mailing list and we do have CDs for sale. So come on over into Zoom and I'll stop talking so Jonny can press the button and we can see you there.
It will take us a minute or two to get there, so
Yes,
don't panic.
so yes, don't rush. You can go for a wee first. It's fine.